Hello everyone, my name is GoblinBob, and today I'm participating in a thing by SeamlessR for his 100,000 subscribers. And what that is, well, you can find details in the description, but overall what it is, he's going to be creating a track, some music track, with 100 samples sent to him by whoever wants to participate. And if it's good enough, of course, he's gonna pop it in there. So basically, I don't know, I wanted to give it a try and say, why not? So I am, and I'm participating, and I'm sending free files because that's legal. I can do that. I can send free WAV files, but he's gonna, of course, pick only one of them, one per person. You know, maybe he likes one better than the other. We'll see. So I'm gonna send them in free separate WAV files, and the part of the submission process is you gotta create a video on how you actually made it. So so it's legitimate. So you know everyone knows that you actually made the sound, and it's 100% copyright free. So he doesn't get any copyright strikes and stuff. So you know, well, it was a problem for him for some time, but well, there you go. I'm gonna show you how to create all the sounds that you're gonna hear right now. Those are the free sounds that I created. So let's see how you actually make those. I'm gonna put some timestamps in the description so you can actually time warp and teleport to the things you're most interested in. They're gonna be, you know, in order explained. So yeah, have fun and learn some stuffs. Learn some sound design. First, we're gonna be starting with the first one, of course. This one. I'm gonna first off take some effects off of, you know, the master has Wave Candy, of course, for this, and Maximus just doing its thing. But there it is, as you see. I'm gonna turn off everything that I'm using. I decided not to use the codecs because it just ruins the sound, so I'm gonna disable everything. It now sounds like this. Not much of a change, but you know, weaker, I would say. Next, we're gonna just disable all the effects, just all of them. Boom boom. Disable the band pass and band reject. Disable the feedback, disable the noise, and then disable everything. No sound. Cool. That's just what we wanted. So first of all, what do you have here? We have carbon, which is a wavetable, of course. It's located right here. And it's pretty cool just because it has a lot of variation. I'm going to show you right now. It has a lot of variation and it has a lot of change in its tone. So when we go to carbon, only play a note. Wait. Play a note. Cool. When we go through it, so you can see it's pretty varied. So you can get really intricate. We can get really intricate just sounds from it, and just vowels, and it's a really interesting wavetable. So what you do is just pick up carbon. That's cool. Next, what you want to do is, of course, well, now it's we're gonna mute everything here. Now it sounds like this, and we're gonna mute this, of course, and we're gonna mute this. So straight sound, of course. First of all, it's gonna be like this, so we're gonna bring it down an octave so it's lower. Cool. So now we're gonna create some wavetable position automation. So it's gonna go through all that weirdness that's inside the wavetable. So, and we're doing that with an FLO. So just do that and just do bleh, and it does that. So that's cool. You can tweak that, but I'm not gonna do that. Wait, okay, let me show you guys. You can do that the same with the second one, because it will dramatically change the tone, and I don't want to mess with this. So you can just do like this roughly, and it'll look the same. But you can do that with whichever of those you want. But roughly in this position, you know, it's fine tuning. Roughly in this position, it works like this. That's cool. So now we can do the second automation, which we are doing. Which is the bent plus intensity. So this creates that sound, which is very interesting. And we're doing that with the second LFO, which is 6 LFO. LFO 6, second LFO, LFO 6, and we can do just that. We click and drag up. That's how we create this, so that's cool. I'm not gonna move this, of course, because it's gonna change the sound dramatically. So that's what you do. If we change like format, it'll sound different, and very different that is. So yeah, you keep that in mind, because that's very important. We do not pass it onto any specific filter. It stays in the middle, so that's cool. I forgot to say what we actually do with the fifth LFO. Well, with the fifth thing. With the first LFO, that is. So what it is, it's just a bending one wave that's slightly turned to the right, because normally, no, I think it is normally like this, kind of. Yeah, I think it is normally like this. So there you go. And don't worry about this, because this doesn't play anything right now, so we can actually turn it off, because it's not a part of the sound. I've made it so I can change from one sound to the other, but we're not going to do that, so we can just delete that. Don't worry about it. Alright. Oh, my hand hurts. I'm sorry. I have to move it. There you go. So, we send it to 1 to 2 ratio. If we did it more, it'd just be faster. Want to keep it like that, because that's the part of the sound. Now, if you want to make your own sound, of course, tweak. So it'll be different, but you know what I mean. It's the tweaking that matters, and it's cool. So the second LFO, the LFO 6, that is, you have 1 to 4 ratio, and it's just a simple saw. So you can keep it in the middle, whatever. They're two saws, so it doesn't really matter, but it still is the same. So that's that. That's the automation. That's cool. We're gonna go through all more automation, because there's a 7th one. We're gonna do that later. So we're gonna do that later. So we don't need that yet. That's just a sub, and we're not gonna really. We're gonna do that at the end. Whatever. We don't have any modulation. As you see, it's all off, so we're not gonna go into that. We can turn on the noise. We just add some noise in the background. Noise. So you just turn it up a little bit. You turn the color all the way up so it's clear, otherwise it'll be muddy. I'm gonna turn off the carbon for a second. Yeah, you can hear a little bit. It's there, as you see. Yeah, and it's muddy because it's only low frequency, so you want to turn it up. It's basically the pitch, or just like cut off. I don't really know. I'm not really into algorithms of massive, so there you go. That's how it sounds like right now. We're gonna apply bandpass and make sure that it's on partial, I think that is. I don't know what it really means, but I know what it does, and I know how it works, so that's cool. That's important. So just do it like that, because we don't need sir, because it's basically going to work the same, because we don't mix the two, but you know, whatever. But it works. You can turn on the bandpass. You can choose bandpass. There's only one bandpass, so you don't have to worry about it. And now we introduce the 7th LFO, which is a sine wave. And it's 1 to 2, of course. Nothing else has really changed. What it does is just goes up and down. Wow. Wow. Like that. So we can just turn it up. And, you know, it's faster, but we're going to keep it kind of in sync with the 5th one, so it kind of creates that harmony, but it's sort of off, so it's not... So it's more interesting, it has more dynamics, so that's a cool way to do it. Just set up 2 LFOs that have a slightly different shape with roughly the same tempo, so it'll just create really cool movement. So next thing you want is the band reject, which isn't a thing in here, because it was used for a second sound, so actually we can, you know, delete it. It's not important, so you can just roughly set it. We can just double click. Alright, there you go. It has no impact on the sound, so that's cool. Next thing we want to do is clip it a little bit. So just choose hard clipper from the insert, and you just blip, 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 you know, do these. You know, it doesn't really matter how hard you push it, but roughly in the middle. That's how I made it. So another one, we use Bronner tube distortion. We enable that. As you can see, it dramatically changes tone from this to this. It just becomes sharp and basically just more distorted. So that's how you do that. And then you have to enable dimension expander to make it wider in stereo wide, you know. I think it just repeats the sound from the left to the right, because if you increase the size, it just becomes more delayed. But yeah, that's cool. All right, the EQ is just a little bit of boosting in the high shelf and a little bit of decreasing from the middle, of course, on the low shelf. No fancy movement here. As you see, it just brings up the high frequencies, so it's sharper. Without it, it just sounds just more muddy, you know. This is what equalizing does, mostly, what's used for. So, there you go. Next thing we want to do is actually bring out more voices, because that's, you know, I like that. So, sometimes it just makes the sound better. So I think we had 4 voices. As you see, it's messy right now, but if you add some pitch cutoff, it's basically just like detuning, you know what I mean? And it's at the start, it's like this. And it's no, it's like this at the start. So when you turn it up all the way, it's just really not in tune, because it's detuned really hard. It's one key apart, so it's not ideal. What you want to do is turn it up, like turn it down from the 1, and just move it around over here, so you just have 0.04. That's how I have it. You can have it a little bit bigger, but you know, that's how I put it. So there you go. Next thing you want to do is change the pan position for every voice, which is just spread it more. So normally it's in this position in the middle, and you want to just move it to the right a little bit, or to the left. It doesn't really matter, because it's going to be spread evenly, but you know, that's how it sounds. I'm gonna show you the routing so you can copy this if it's messed up. I didn't really change anything here, so yeah. So you can just add a little bit of feedback for taste. I normally do that. Doesn't really do much, but you know, it adds more complexity to the sound, so it looks more appealing. So yeah, I think that's everything apart from the sub bass. It sounds pretty identical to what I made. So when you turn on the sub bass, it's basically just adds another layer of bass, which is just a sine wave. Wavetable, you know, down, so it's a sine wave, and turn down an octave. What you have to do is actually pull up the oscillator 2 to bypass. You can do that. You can do that for everything. So that way it just bypasses these effects. So it just goes straight to the amp. And you just put it up a little bit. And I think it's normally like this, but I'm not sure. I can put it up like this. And that's a sub bass. So there you go. Now, what we can do is unmute these, which you just plop it in here. It scales the amp, so it scales the amp while with the bandpass, so it just doesn't show the muddy. You don't hear the muddy going down of like this section. So it just appears and goes. You know what I mean? Because normally it would sound like this. Because it's, as you hear, this is the muddy part, and I don't know. I just like to cut that out. So there you go. We do the same with the sub bass because we don't want the sub bass playing when when everything else doesn't. So now it sounds like this, and that's how you make the sound. We just put some more effects on it, like reverb. You can copy this. Just basically reverb only the high frequencies to not make it muddy and decrease the decay, so it's really short. Just bring up some wet, and that's it. Oh, and bring the stereo wideness all the way left. That's just how I do it. I don't say it's the ideal way. That's how I create my own sounds. We don't have to have the vocodec here, just because it doesn't play any part. So then we want a Maximus, just to bring it up a little bit, just to have that little bit of how's it called? Compression. There you go. Just you can copy these settings because it's really just fine tuning. It's not something, oh, it just changes the sound completely. Alright. So that's how you make, I'm sorry. That's how you make that. Oh, also, I just did this little thing where I just, where I just take out some of these, like about where the snare is and kind of where the kick is. I could say that. It's the beginning of the sub bass, and then the sub bass is right here. But it just adds more to it. So you can just, copy this. It's not hard. Just create this shape. It just adds more to it. So I like that. I can save that right now because I can. So that's that sound. It's done. We can go to the next one, which is this one. Which I think is cool. I think I've used something like that before in my track. So there you go. That's how it sounds like. And what we can do is actually take off the effects I have, which is just the Reverb and Maximus, just as in the previous example. I'm gonna explain that as well, if you haven't seen the previous one. So that's how it sounds. I'm gonna take off the automation on the amp. I'm just gonna disable everything. I'm just gonna explain it later. So you don't need these. It's just experimentation. So you can apply those. There you go. Amazing. All right. This is the basic sound. I know it sounds really cheap, but I know, like, this makes the bass. It's super cool. This is the camcord. This is the camcord wavetable, and what you do is just plop it. I think it's 4 octaves up. Yeah, I think it is 4 octaves up, so it's high. If you're playing higher on your keyboard, of course, you can put it lower. But I'm playing like C2, I think, or I mean F. Oh damn, that's not the sound I wanted to do. Come on. F3, there you go. So that's what I'm doing right now for every sound, apart from this one, which is F5. But so I'm gonna bring some automation in for the wavetable position, which is this shape, which basically just goes up pretty quick and then goes down. It's not super quick, but it adds. It's like ooh. It adds movement, which is gonna be important in the future. So it just adds that little taste, you know what I mean? And the next thing you want to do is automate the intensity of the bend plus. So it does that. It's just a rate middle sine wave. That's it. There you go. Next thing that's important is the sine wave an octave down. But it doesn't get it doesn't sound like the original sound, but when you add distortion, you begin to see how it has been done. Then I'm gonna disable that for now, but then we're gonna add the band passing, which is picked from here. You just plop this onto here and just move it up like this. Boom. I don't want to change it because it will dramatically change the tone of the sound. So also you send the bandwidth a little bit off from the middle to the left, and the resonance at 45 degrees, I think that is. So that's cool. That's how it sounds right now. Pretty, not energetic at all, but that's how it sounds like. So next we do the noise, which doesn't add a lot, but it's a bright noise, not a white noise this time. And you just plop it in and just that's how you do it. There you go. That's what it looks like. Remember to put the color all the way up. So that's how it sounds like right now. Next thing we're gonna add is the feedback. which doesn't seem like it adds a lot. But you know, it adds a little spice. So as you can see here, it only applies when I put the vowel up, which we're not using right now. So actually, you know what? We can actually disable that, because why not? We don't have to use the second vowel, because that's not a part of the sample I'm gonna send, so what's the point? So, there you go. We can go without using the feedback. So there you go. We just add a little sign shaper from here and just bring the dry wet down a little bit and the dry wet and the dry a little bit. Doesn't seem like much, but you know, it just adds a little bit of a crisp, so that's cool. I'm gonna move it a little bit. So the next thing we're gonna add, oh yeah, I forgot to disable that. Alright, whatever. Isn't much of a difference. We're gonna add the Browner tube distortion, as in the last time. And move it all the way up. So now, as you see, it's very dramatic, and it really changes the sound to the final form. So next we're gonna do is dimension expand it. Just, you know, it's at the end of the list, so just adds it more stereo wideness, so that's cool. And the last thing we're gonna do is just add 2 voices. Don't add pitch cutoff, and just don't do anything here, and turn on pan position and move it accordingly. Oh, did I? It sounds different. Does it not? I think it does. Did I screw something up? I don't think it did. I don't know. I think it sounds identical, right? Yeah, I think it does. I think it's because of this. Alright, we're gonna look at it later. So, yeah, there's no EQ, so I don't need to do that. So there you go. And the voicing is just, I'm applying LFO5 to it and just bring it out. So the green is on the right and the white is on the left. So that's cool. Oh, ugh. Next thing, I suppose, are the effects. The post effects, because we've done everything. Oh, unmute this. This is really important. Because we're gonna mute it like a sine wave with the bandpass, just as we did the previous one, if you didn't see that one. So yeah, that's how it's done. And then we just add some little reverb, just basically the same setting as in the last time. Just some stereo wideness, just applying for the high frequencies, a little bit of wet, and just decrease decay so it's really short. And we just maximize it. These are the settings, you can copy them down. There you go. That's it for this sound. The next sound we're going to be creating is this. So that's that. That's this sound. Then we're going to just disable everything I've got here, so the same we got for everything else. And sounds like it's a little bit weaker, I know. I suppose I can turn the maximus on so I can hear everything better. It doesn't really do that much, it just compresses it. You can copy down the settings from it. It just basically makes them louder, nothing else. Alright, here we are to the nitty-gritty of the sound design. That's how it sounds. We're not gonna use the morph, so we don't need that, because it just changes it to a different sound. And we don't need that, so I'm gonna just disable that, I suppose. There you go. What if we disable high pass? It doesn't work like that. Okay. What if we disable the scale? That would be cool. Come on, Discord. I was counting on you. Oh. Come on. Whatever. You're gonna have to hear that. Alright. So I'm just gonna disable everything that I don't need right now. So now we're left with this, which is just a square. Oh, I think we have, yeah, we do that. All right, 16 voices. So there we go. That's just a square wave, nothing else to it. We just add a little bit of pitch modulation to it. So just like does that with this shape. You can copy down the settings, so just a little bit of attack, a little bit of delay. So there you go. Does that. It's pretty simple. You can add some modulation, some phase to the first oscillator. You can actually delete this, just because you don't change the morph, so it doesn't really do anything right now. But there you go. Just do that. You also remember to pitch modulate the modulation oscillator as well, and bring it up to 12 to an octave up, just as well as you bring 3 octaves down the square RobotSQ, this square wave. Also remember, I'm playing this on F5 because that's really important. So yeah, there you go. Oh, well, that doesn't do anything, so I don't need to turn that off. The next thing you do is plop a high pass 2 for it. So you see that does that, which is, you know, it's getting closer to a sound actually. So that's cool. So just what you do is just plop in the LFO5 to it and just move it up. Just give here the same thing that modulates the pitch modulation. Modulates the pitch of the oscillator 1 and modulation oscillator. Just put that down this time. As you can see, it's at the lowest and it's put down. And then you actually I'm gonna show you how much it's put down, like this much. All right, just a little bit. And they didn't have to actually scale because it does absolutely nothing. So this is how it looks like right now. This doesn't work because it was used for the morph 1, so you can actually dismiss this part because it just does absolutely nothing. The next thing you want to do is just I'm sorry, I forgot to delete everything here. Doesn't really change much. It just makes it sound louder. But the thing here is very important. The sign shaper. Just put up the dry wet and put up the drive. It sounds like this. Dramatically changed actually, so that's cool. And we go for the hard clipper and turn it up all the way. And now we actually get to hear the sound we want. Then we just put some Browner tube distortion on it. It gets distorted, basically it gets distorted. And then we put some dimension expander so it's more stereo wide. That's cool. That's basically it. The next thing we just want to do is just make more voices so it's like this kind of, but it still isn't very stereo wide. So what we want to do, you just want to spread them apart using this knob right here. Just want to put it all the way to the right or to the left. It doesn't really matter. It sounds pretty much the same. So yeah. You can also turn some pitch cutoff up a little bit, so it got that detuned sound to it. So yeah, just as you see it, they are pretty much in the same position, but this one, the first one up is just slightly to the right, moved slightly to the right. It's just like a little bit of detune, you know what I mean? So that's how you make the sound. That's basically, I have a little bit of EQing, just turning down the low shelf, the low frequencies, and turning up the high frequencies. Just a little bit more, so just a little bit more crisp. And that's basically it. The effects I'm giving it is just a fruity reverb with stereo wideness mostly to the left, so it's stereo wide. And a little bit of wet, no decay, so it's very... so it's very fast, and we just cut out some low frequencies, so it's only applies the reverb for a high frequency, so it's not muddy. So there we go. That's the sound we were making, and that's the end of the tutorial, I suppose. I didn't really speak much about the techniques, because that's not the that's not what I'm actually specialized in, and I don't know much of theory behind it. But I know it sounds awesome, and I'm having lots of fun with it. So go ahead, and if you have FL Studio, if you have any other DAW, and if you have Massive in this case, you can just create those sounds, create your track, just have fun. It's real fun. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for following me, for following my SoundCloud, following my sound, and thank you for watching, and have fun. Bye.